You could have $1 billion in your pocket, you can't buy a center. It's difficult to find an asset which is world class. You might find the unsuccessful asset and then you say, I want to turn it around, but that's not valuable. But a valuable asset will not be available because Mumbai is very, very short of land. To get a large parcel of land, someone might tell you that I'm going to develop it outside. Similarly, office. If you believe in the intrinsic growth of the economy, there will be demand for offices growing.
Nikhil, thank you very much for being here today. I'm confident that our conversation will be very interesting for those that are looking to India, trying to find the right opportunity to enter the market, to deploy capital here. I would like to start by asking you to tell a little bit more about Prozone to our audience. It's a very well-established organization, listed company. You have done investments in Mumbai, in tier 2 cities as well. Can you explain a little bit more, please?
Prozone was specially established to create shopping centers, malls in tier 2 cities. Over the years, what we realized was that the tier 2 cities did not grow as fast as the tier 1 cities. And we took a call that we should come to tier 1 cities also. While doing all this process, what we realized was that there's a very specific skill set which you can develop while doing retail or office or residential. And that skill set actually holds you in good stead every time you go anywhere. So just to give you an example, is that in retail, you have the same 300 customers who come to you every time you build a new shopping center. And when you build a new shopping mall, these 300 customers have to trust you 4 years before you actually deliver the product. So 4 years in advance, they sign a contract with you saying that we will come. So that is basically trust, where they say, we will come and open a shop with you. The fit out costs are extremely huge. You have to be conscious about what they're doing and they're committing 4 years in advance. And these commitments are not simple. They are normally backed by contracts and some of the largest companies in India back it up. So the first thing you need to do is have trust, where people trust your product, they trust your model. They say that this fellow, if he says he will deliver in the summer of 2027, he will deliver, because otherwise their plans go awry. And once you have done that, the next phase of it comes when your building is ready. Again, he has the same challenge that he starts building the fit outs, and when he does the fit outs, he's extremely worried again. What if his fit outs are ready much earlier than the shopping center is ready? There are times when shopping centers open with hardly 10 or 12 shops. What if it's not successful? So now again he has to put his money in the fit outs, have faith in you, and that's where Prozone fits in. We have a relationship of trust with the same 300 retailers who have been working with us for the last 15 years. And that is what Prozone has earned over the years. We also do offices, we do residential, but our underlying thing is we deliver on our promises. And if you can keep doing that, people will keep coming back to you.
When you look at the next 5 years, where would you like to see Prozone in the next 3 to 5 years? What's the plan here?
See, we have shopping centers in Aurangabad, Coimbatore.
Tier 2 cities.
Yes, tier 2 cities. We are developing residential there, offices there. But from the last 3 years, what we have done is that we've shifted the entire development focus and brought it to Mumbai city. So we're focusing only on Mumbai city. We're not even saying tier 1. We're just coming to Mumbai and we wish to develop here. Now, what typically happens is in Mumbai, if you actually go out and tell me that I want to buy a shopping center, I promise you one thing, you won't be able to find one. With all the money, you could have $1 billion in your pocket, you can't buy a center. It's difficult to find an asset which is world class. You might find an unsuccessful asset and then you say, I want to turn it around, but that's not valuable. But a valuable asset will not be available because Mumbai is very, very short of land. To get a large parcel of land, someone might tell you that I'm going to develop it outside. Similarly, office. If you believe in the intrinsic growth of the economy, there will be demand for offices growing. So our focus is going to be on these two sectors, retail and office. And to support the cash flow, if we do some residential, it might be there, but that's not our core. Our core will be retail and office. If we are able to do, in a city like Bombay, if you're able to do 3-4 million square feet, you and me know the numbers. They will be huge.
What do you anticipate that will be the main challenges to follow this strategy?
The challenges in India are enormous because you normally are always fighting against the system. So if you see a rating of India on real estate, so why do people come to India and partner with people? If you do a ranking of ease of business in real estate, India will be out of 180 countries in 150 plus. So ease of business is not there. So there is a challenge. And normally you can make big money only in places where there are challenges.
Of course.
So for people to find the right partner, trust them and go. Don't try to make the extra money. Let the people who understand the business take the risk, and then you partner with them, take reasonable risk and be able to grow. So I think the biggest challenges will be ease of doing business and transparency, and to have a partner whom people trust. Because ultimately your business is as good as what, if you're in residential, do the consumers trust your brand? If you're in retail, do the retailers trust your brand? If you're in office, are you making fantastic A-grade offices? So what I'm trying to say is that Mumbai is a city where everything revolves around FSI. Are you consuming the FSI or not? So in that urge to consume the FSI, a lot of people compromise on product. So what I'm trying to say is that, would you make a mall with all the retail at 5.5 meters minimum? Would you make office at 4.2 meters minimum? Do you give adequate height to residential? These are just the simple things. How do you create your product? Ultimately, the product wins. So are we partnering with the right people? And do we have people who understand the ground level in Mumbai or in any city, and so that they can get all the permissions on time and they don't have challenges later? So that's...
Makes sense. We were having a coffee a few minutes before this interview, and we were talking about how much we as a GRN should believe in India, and how much we are investing time and energy here, the size of our team here. And you said, well, I agree with you, because I see the big opportunity now when I look at the whole world is in India. And you explained me comparing with what happened in the past in the US and China. And I told you I wish I could record that, because it was such a great explanation. I would like to ask you, could you explain your way of thinking for us here now on the camera as well?
If you see any growth economy, America in 1969 was a $1 trillion economy. By 1985, it became a $4 trillion economy. So it took 16 years. So I must define that it took over a century to become $1 trillion. It took 16 years to go from 1 trillion to 4 trillion. In 1985, the contribution of real estate to the 4 trillion economy was approximately 5.5%. So approximately 200 billion. From 1985, the American economy grew to $10 trillion by 1995, a growth of 2.5 times. Now, how is that growth possible? Unless the intrinsic growth of real estate locks into that economy, you're never going to get that sort of number coming up. What real estate does is it pushes services, it pushes steel, it pushes cement, everything. The contribution of real estate in 1995, when America became a $10 trillion economy, was 16%. So it grew from 200 billion to 1.6 trillion. So if you see the contribution in that, you yourself can understand the numbers. A similar story is in China. In 2005, China was a $4 trillion economy, contributing about 6% or 6.5% to contribution was from real estate. By 2012, just 7 years, China, everything, because the government pushes and everything pushes, the contribution, China grew just in 7 years to become a $10 trillion economy. Contribution of real estate became 20%. Of course, today they say that it could be a bubble or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that if you believe in the intrinsic growth of India, we are a $4 trillion economy. Even if you believe that in the next 10 years, we're going to be a $10 trillion economy, which our country was very proudly saying it again and again, which is the industry you would lock yourself in? I believe contribution of real estate is going to be key to making us a $10 trillion economy. And I would be surprised if it's less than 16% at the end of the next decade. So I don't need to tell you why India is important. And this would happen, it's like saying to grow from 10 trillion to 20 trillion again will be a different cycle. But which are the industries whose contribution will continue to grow? So if you see the delta, it will be maximum real estate in this decade. In the next decade, there could be growth, but the delta will not be the same. Your contribution of real estate from 10 trillion to 20 trillion could be going from maybe 16% to 18%. You also have to see the intrinsic growth of the industry. The intrinsic growth of this industry will give us a CAGR of more than 30% over the next decade.
Basically, there's a fantastic window of opportunity for foreign investors to deploy capital here in India from what I hear from the players and from what I have been seeing here in the country. At the same time, when I speak to the global investors, I see that some of them have been sniffing around, checking, talking, coming to GRI events, talking to GRI members, and still haven't made the actual investment yet. They're probably about to do that. Some say that there's a lot of competition with domestic capital, who knows the markets very well and know the players, so they can decide in a fast mood. Some say that the international geopolitical scenario is quite complicated at the moment with wars, trade wars, etc. So everybody's more on a slow mood, trying to check how things are before committing capital anywhere. What's your taking on that? Do you also see foreign investors checking the country, being more present here? The traditional guys, the Blackstone guys, the Brookfield, GIC, Adia, they have been pouring money here and they have been making a lot of money here. But I feel that there are a new wave of foreign investors that are about to come, but they're still taking too long to decide. Do you agree with that?
No, it's not a matter. See, I'll tell you one thing. I don't think the person who comes first wins first. So I'm okay with people taking their time. Every time you talk to an investor, everyone. I only believe that this business is about partnerships. So when people understand real estate, a lot of companies are coming into India and trying to be money lenders. That will not work as a model. You will make marginal money. You will never grow big. You will have to partner and believe in the story and say, I'm going to commit 10 years to this country. You commit 10 years to the country, even if you make lesser mistakes than all your other competition, you will be huge. That's basically my understanding of the situation. I don't think you can, and as far as people are being on the borderline, everyone follows his own strategy, which I respect. So everyone has a strategy. When does he want to come into India? But the global conflict affects India the least. That is one advantage we have. The reason for that is that a large part of our economy is driven by domestic consumption. Imagine in a country like this, where domestic consumption is driving maximum demand. All the countries in the world want to come and companies in the world want to come and set up and make India their market. So our domestic consumption is driven up also by what is being supplied. At the same time, they are also committing to this country that we will invest on manufacturing in this country, for this country, and for taking it abroad. Now, what that does is, if the contribution of exports grows in this country by just 7 to 10%, the economic numbers will be in wonders. 65% of our domestic consumption drives our GDP. Now, just visualize a scenario that 65% is still the driving number, but if your exports grows by 10%, what happens to that number? It will explode. This country is waiting, and I think, if you see what our country is trying to do, again and again, bring manufacturing here, and if you see, it's higher grade manufacturing coming here. We want chip manufacturing, we want to manufacture Apple phones, we want to manufacture, electronics. So we are suddenly going up one step. A lot of people say that we are losing out on textile or garments or something. But if you see the Bangladesh economy and you see the Indian economy, you need to understand that if you talk about density per square kilometer, we've got 300 people. Bangladesh has 1,050 people. So they have to go into labor intensive industries. Today, the biggest challenge in India is not only the poor, it's also the lack of skilled labor. So we need to train our skilled labor, but the aspiration of India has grown. Everyone wants a blue collar job where he doesn't want to dirty his hands. He doesn't want to go into the mines and dig this. He wants to work in a manufacturing setup which is nice and clean. He can get out and he can go to the pub in the evening and he can have a drink. He's dreaming of a European lifestyle. And that, I think, will change India from all the other countries. And the biggest power which we have, democracy. You can be assured that anything happens in this country, you will be safe.
That's very reassuring, especially when you look at other emerging markets. I don't need to mention names that a lot of investors put money and they had trouble to exit or to deal with the governments. And I think it's a very smart way to see things. Nikhil, thank you very much. I appreciate your views. It was a fantastic conversation. And I look forward to welcoming you in Abu Dhabi as well in other activities that we have at the GRI. Thank you.
I look forward.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.